changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back ever again. You can't stop what's moving. You can't stop what's moving. I'm changing my life, and I won't look back ever again.
Welcome to EJ's voiceover journey, where the mic is always on and the learning never stops. I'm EJ, a voice actor journeying through the world of voiceover, from auditions and coaching to client work. Whether you're just starting out on your voice acting path or already deep into the journey, this podcast shares real experiences, lessons, laughs, and challenges straight from inside the booth. Let's bring scripts to life together with heart and soul. EJ の声優の旅へようこそ。ここはマイクはいつもオン。学びは止まらないポッドキャストです。私は EJ。オーディションからコーチング、クライアントの仕事まで、声優の世界を旅する声優です。あなたが声優の道を歩き始めたばかりでも、もっと深いところまで来た人でも、このポッドキャストでは、ブースの中からたくさんの経験、学び、笑いや挑戦を共有します。一緒に台本に命と魂を吹き込みましょう。Hey, well, I am back, and it's been forever, because this was a really long post to do both in English and Japanese. But here we are. So hello, y'all know who I am. And I was busy with 2 classes in the month of February and part of March. It's Voice Acting 301 and one called Making AI Work for You, because you guys hear all about AI all the time. This VA 301 class required a lot more participation than 101 or 201 did. And that could be to who our teacher was, Deb Monroe, who was also my coach. She pushes you to do your best. And that's a great thing. And she lets you know when, nope, that's not right. Yes, that's correct. You're almost there. Really good cues. And the class itself, as a whole, the peer group, does a really good job of keeping you on point and letting you know what's working, what's not. So you get a variety of feedback. Could also be that it's like a level 300 course, so they just expect more out of you. Those who've gone to university or even some high schools have that level. You know, you got an English course, and then it's like a 100 level course, and then there's a 200 level course and a 300 level course, you know. So you got to step your game up. But the work has been fun. Rewrote my pay-to-play bios and templates, getting to do reads live with live direction and feedback. Like I said, immensely helpful. Not only did my bio need rework, but I created some templates for the new world, shall we say. These templates contain information for potential clients. You know, they relay my introduction. You know, hey, I'm Eric. I'm a voice actor. My desire to work with them. One of the keys to that is don't make it an I template. You make it a they template. One, you know, you're letting the client know what you can do for them and how you're going to work with them, and that you're going to be a partnership. You know, a collaboration. This isn't just one way. Pricing points, things for AI that you can get off of Nava to help you craft your policies. There's a lot of work that went into it. 皆さん、おはようございます。最近のハッシュカン VA301 と Make AI Work for You というコースに出席していました。とても忙しかったです。VA301 コースはいつもより努力がかかりました。だいたい1週間で台本を読んで録音を作ってオーディションを練習します。先生の名前はデブ・モンローでした。デブさんは私たちはベストを尽くせるように背中を押してくれます。そして最善のパフォーマンスができているか、オーディションに勝つために何が必要かを理解できているかを丁寧に見てくれます。 私たちがオーディションの練習フィードバックをもらいました。僕の P2P のプロファイルを書き直しました。プロファイルの見直しだけでなく、P2P のテンプレートも作り直しました。このテンプレートには、クライアントのための情報が入っています。自己紹介や一緒に仕事をしたいという思い、そして私が提供できることを伝える内容です。So the template also contains how much I charge for live directed sessions, what my retake policy is, like, 2 retakes if the mistakes are mine. If not, and they start rewriting copy, then that's a charge on their part. Other basic business offerings and requirements. I have a 48-hour turnaround. You give me the job, I get it back to you in 48 hours. And that all depends on what kind of job it is. If it's a commercial audition and you give it to me and this is the copy, commercials are short, 30 seconds or less. That's an easy turnaround. You can actually do that in a couple of hours. But I give myself a lot of buffer room because if I get backed up and I've got 3 commercials to do or something like that, then yeah, it could take a little bit longer because you really want to do a good job on the editing side. Super important. Now, I mentioned the AI writer. That's part of my template, and the AI writer spells out to a client what I expect from them in terms of protecting my voice and my brand. They can't use my voice to train an AI large language model. They can't use my voice for any new projects they aren't paying me for. They can't clone it without my permission. They can't use my current submission past a certain time period without renegotiating the contract and payment agreement. Well, basically, it states that they can't do whatever they want without consulting me and reimbursing me. And this is part of what you may see is the in perpetuity clause within many contracts. And an in perpetuity, depending on where you're at in the U.S. or on the planet, means forever, or it can mean 7 years. I've been kind of doing a deep dive into getting understanding on in perpetuity, at least as it relates to California, where I'm from. It's 7 years. After 7 years, you're freed of this contract. And when I say contract, that's kind of like you do a commercial for somebody. They own it in perpetuity, doing air quotes there. They can run that commercial for a certain amount of time. And then once that time period is over, they can still run the commercial, but I'm free to do other commercials in that same project realm. I'll explain that a little bit later. 僕のテンプレートが会社の価格とポリシーと AI ポリシーも書いてあります。これは私の声とブランドを守るためにクライアントに求めることを明確にしたものです。私の声を LLM の学習に使うことや支払いのない新しいプロジェクトに無断で使うことは禁止しています。契約と支払いの最高賞なしに決められた期間を超えて音声を使用することはできません。基本的に私への相談や追加の支払いなしに音声を自由に使うことは禁止しています。Okay, here's why. Many of it, and let's face it, all the posts found in most P2P sites have in perpetuity attached to them. It's most prevalent in voices.com, and it's been there. I backtracked to a lot of the older posts that all the way back to when I first started, and it's in there. For whatever reason, my brain just didn't key on it, probably because it just wasn't brought up. And this appears to be kind of a boilerplate template that everybody uses. So there are well-meaning posters on Facebook and Reddit that just say, well, don't take these jobs. Well, that's all fine and dandy until you realize it's on every job. How do you grow in this industry when you're told not to take the gigs with this writer attached to the audition? Well, you don't. And if you take the jobs that have this attached, then you're putting yourself in a possible bind for future jobs. これがポリシー制御にとって、in perpetuity とは 追加の支払いなしで永久的に音声を使えるという意味です。これはすべてのリクルートメント情報にある定型文のようです。それはそれで結構ですが、どの仕事にも書いてあると気づいた時にはもううんざりです。折しにこんなポリシーがついている仕事は受けるなと言われたら、この業界でどうやって成長すればいいのですか? So if you have an agent, meaning you've been doing this for a while and are established and seasoned, that's great. It takes a while to get an agent. You got to bring them something that they're interested in for them to be interested in you and take you on as a client. So then you have someone looking out for your best interests. But if you don't, how do you avoid these? You can simply not take the gig, but that means you don't work and you don't get better because, I mean, let's face it, that's how you get better, by auditioning and doing gigs and getting direction and getting feedback. Having this in perpetuity tag on all the jobs makes it harder for new voice actors to make a living, reducing the quality of the productions going forward also because, I mean, you have the high folks on the high bar that have been doing this for a while and have agents. They're really, really good. They're aging out of the industry. So if the people coming in aren't able to have the same flexibility that they once did because they're trapped possibly by future soft exclusivity is what it's called, you're hurting the industry. And you can say, yeah, sure, we're going to go with AI, but, you know, AI hasn't proven to be all that acceptable based on what happened during the Super Bowl. Those commercials that were AI generated were a lot of pain and effort to create and didn't garner the response the producers thought it would. エージェントがいる。つまり、この仕事を長くやっていて、実歴も経験も豊富な資深な方なら、それは素晴らしいことです。あなたのサイズの利益を考えてくれる人がいるということです。でも、もしそういう人、エージェントがいない場合、どうやってこれらを避けばいいのですか？単純にその仕事を受けないこともできますが、それでは仕事がなく、成長もできます。すべての仕事に in perpetuity のタグがついていることは、駆け出しの声優が生活するのを難しくし、結果として今後の作品のクオリティを下げることになります。あなたの利益を守ってくれる人がいるのですから。でも、エージェントがいない場合、どうやってこれらを避ければ良いのでしょうか？単に仕事を受けないという出口もありますが、それは仕事がない、成長できないということを意味します。すべての仕事に永久的のタグがついている現状は、新人声優が生活するのを難しくし、結果として今後の作品のクオリティを下げることになります。なぜなら、この世界で永久的がどう機能するかは、こういうことだからです。I say that because how in perpetuity works is like this. Today I voiced a commercial for a local bank and I made $1,000. We'll call it Sam's Bank. 1 or 2 years later, I'm doing much better. I have plenty of work and I am known in the industry by other, because I've worked for different clients. Chase Bank, which is a national bank, offers me a gig that can potentially net me $40,000. And that's a good chunk of change for the whole length of this ad. The stipulation is I can't have voiced for any other financial institution that is still running that ad in the last year. Well, that local bank is still holding the rights to the work I did for them, and they won't renegotiate the contract, and they won't stop running the ad. Chase Bank is going to come back because they don't want the voice from a competitor causing brand confusion on their Chase Bank ads. So they say, sorry, the agent isn't happy. I'm not happy. Chase Bank has to go out and find somebody else. Meanwhile, this other bank is still running the ad, and I'm held hostage until the time runs out. If that time was not pre-negotiated to say, okay, you have 1 year exclusivity, if that isn't in there, then I have to wait 7 years. So I got 5 more years. Then I can go to Chase Bank and like, hey, I'm free now. But by then it's like, who are you? You know, maybe they forgot about me. この世界で永久的がどのように機能するかというと、こういうことなのです。今日、地方銀行の CM を録音し、$1000を稼ぐとします。1、2年後、私は業界で有名になり、仕事も充実しています。そこでチェイスバンクから40万ドルにもなる大きな仕事のオーダーが来ました。でも条件があります。過去1年間、他の銀行の CM に出演していないことです。地方銀行は永久的な使用権を持っていて、再交渉にも応じてくれず、CM を流し続けています。その結果、私はチェイスバンクの仕事を受けることができず、エージェントも報酬を得らせぬため不満をできます。残念ね。You can stop using P2P sites and begin to cold call potential clients. This is one way to, find your own work and avoid these in perpetuity clauses within contracts. But this doesn't necessarily remove that in perpetuity issue. It can just mitigate it. You get the contract for the gig, but the client stipulates that in the contract, that you sign, you may have that same issue. They may throw it in there. And you start negotiating, you say like, well, I'm not signing this because I'm not letting you keep my voice for, forever. And they will say, well, in that case, we'll go find somebody else who'll do this and sign it. And, now you're out of a gig again. So there are VAs who are hungry for work and they are not understanding this in perpetuity. So they'll go ahead and unsign it so they can get the money and move on. They think they're doing a good thing for themselves, but they haven't been educated on it. And that's something that needs to be done. It's easy to get into the industry, but it's upon yourself to get training and schooling in this industry rather than just start buying gear and going online and voicing. And a lot of new folks aren't getting that. You don't hear about it. That job is probably for $500 and you're willing to do it for $500 as long as it's within the right parameters, and then you won't sign. So they'll just say, okay, fine, forget it. We'll sign somebody else. Now that person's doing it for $150. They're also lowering the value of work for VAs coming up. So unless you get coaching and become part of a network, you may not understand that this is going on if you're brand new to it. So now you're contributing to a race to the bottom when it comes to pay, and VAs, voice actors aren't able to make a living wage out of it when you definitely can. It takes a while, like the quotes I'm hearing, 5 to 7 years. My coach says I'm on track. I still have a lot of work to do, and a lot of it is that inside your head kind of work. P2P サイトをやめてクライアントへ直接営業をすることもできます。自分で仕事を見つけるのです。しかし、それでも永久的の問題はなくなりません。契約書にその条項があり、サインを求められたときに、 それを削除しないならサインしないと伝えたとします。すると言っては、じゃあいいです。他の人を探すだけですから、と答えるでしょう。仕事が欲しい新人はたくさんいるからです。契約の知識がなく植えている新人声優は$500の価値がある仕事を$150で受け、そして先ほど話した罠にはまってしまうのです。コーチングを受けたら声優のネットワークに加わったりしない限り何が起きているのかを理解するのは難しいでしょう。それでは声優が生活できるだけの賃金を得られなくなる価格競争のドル沼に自身を追い込むことになってしまいます。The description above applies to non-union workers for the most part, not those belonging to SAG or FICOR. If you belong to those groups, you got coverage. You don't really have anything to worry about because there are certain minimums that are set and certain qualifications that a client must adhere to. But for non-union talents, we need union members to be on board with helping fix the issue. So we also need to band together ourselves as non-union to have these practices that lower our earning potential get removed because these contracts can be unfair. And in most cases, if you do get an audition and it does have that in there and you bring it up to the client and say, hey, let's fix this so I don't get soft exclusivity pushed out for another job. Let's say 1 year you get exclusive rights to this and only this and can only be used for that. But you got to put it in your contract and sign it so that it doesn't come back to bite you. Handshake deals are great, but you know, that person leaves that you had the handshake deal with, somebody else comes in who's more ruthless and well, now you're screwed. 上記の内容は SAG や FICOR に属さないnon-union 非 union の輪っかに当てはまるものです。これらの団体に属しているなら心配事は少ないでしょう。しかし、非ユニオンのタレントがこの問題を解決するにはユニオンメンバーの助けが必要です。私たちは団結し、収入良好を下げ、不公平な契約に縛り付けるような慣行をなくすために行動しなければなりません。This also means that going forward, if all talents are stuck under these binding contracts, then there are no experienced talents available and the sector stops being viable. You say use AI to do the commercials because it is so good and cheaper than using humans. Well, AI can create the scripts and it can read the words. AI doesn't have the ability to add the nuance and the subtlety and the emotion and the ability to change on a dime based on direct cues from directors that are, you're in the booth with. There's more to voice acting than just reading copy. これは今後すべてのタレントが購入した高速的な契約に縛られた場合、経験豊富な人材がいなくなり、この世界自体が成り立たなくなることも意味します。AI は安くてこういう品質だから、CM は AI でいいという意見もあるでしょう。AI は台本を作り、文字を読むことはできます。しかし、AI にはヌアンスやセンサーさ、感情を込めたり、ディレクションに合わせてそれやらを書いたりする能力はありません。 声優の仕事は単に原稿を読むこと以上のものなのです。So, how do we fix it? Do we get this verbiage removed from contracts? Not likely, as this is how business has been done, and it's been done that way for a good reason. Contracts are there. They want things for a certain amount of time. Clients don't want someone voicing for their competitor any more than they allow an employee to work for them and a competitor at the same time. You can't do that. Well, you can, but if you get caught, somebody's going to fire you. Then, once the established VAs are recognized by clients as unwilling to take these contracts, the newly incoming VAs do the same. Then the clients are put between a rock and a hard place because they're being rejected and can't get their projects done. Does any of this work? Probably not to the extent that anyone would like, and there's a lot of animosity thrown in there. Sure, some will move on to AI, but that doesn't appear to be a viable choice based on how AI commercials and other production is being poorly received at least right now at this time. They're fun. You can have a lot of fun with them, but you're missing something when you're not using the human voice. これをどうやって解決しますか? これまでのビジネスのやり方であり、それには十分な理由があるため、簡単には変わらないでしょう。クライアントは従業員が同主体者で同時に働くのを許さないのと同様に声優が業務対象のナレーションをすることも望みません。永久的は業界においてそれぞれの役割があります。それ自体は問題のほんの一部に過ぎません。本当の問題はそれがどう運用させ、どう使われているかという点です。誰かの成長や収益力を妨げるの印として、それを使うのは公平ではありません。So I've been told that there's a 10-year length of time in which the in perpetuity clause expires. But what I have found, it's more like 7 years, at least for the state of California. That's probably not statewide in the U.S. and not worldwide. There's, different timelines and different ideas on that whole contract thing wherever you go. 永久的の条項は10年で進行がなくなりと聞いたことがあります。しかし、オンラインで検索してもその情報は見つけられませんでした。まだ詳しく調べていないので、本当の可能性はありますが。So what I'm doing and suggesting that others do is make sure you go to the NAVA site at thevoices.org and read what they have to protect themselves from predatory clients and scammers. Just about all posts on voices.com have this in perpetuity line. So, it's just kind of a pain. At that point, right after you complete the task and they go on for months and years making money off your work while they have paid you peanuts. And because you are attached to that production, preventing you from being hired on a similar project by another client, as I mentioned before. Yeah, you take that job for Sam's Bank and a year later, Fred's bank wants you to do theirs. And well, you can't because you're stuck with that unless you can get the other folks to back off and renegotiate. So again, clients may turn to AI to create their projects, but right now, many are finding out it's costing them time and effort to create what they want, and it's expensive. So when the project is done, if the public rejects it, they're out some cash and some effort and some time. From what I heard, one of the commercials on the Super Bowl day was just horrendously expensive to create in time and money. And then when I say expensive, that's what I'm talking about. I'm lumping that together. Time and money, effort put in, how much work you had to do to create that whole project. Not all corporations have their own production centers to create this. They, farm it out to some other ad firms and production firms. So now they have to pay them to get this done. Whereas like Under Armour apparently has in-house production services. So they just hire who they want and they can do the whole thing themselves without having to do that extra step in the middle. They don't have that middleman. It's direct to source, shall we say. So, クライアントは AI に頼るかもしれませんが、現在のところ理想のものを作るには時間と努力がかかり、コストが高いと気づいている人も多いです。もし完成した作品が世の中に受け入れられなければ、彼らは自分のクライアントに対して責任を果たせぬことになり、信用を失うでしょう。すべての大企業が自社で制作できるわけではなく、制作会社を使っています。彼らは声優と大企業の板挟みにているのです。また、スーパーボールの CM の評価を見る限り、一般の人はまだ AI 制作の広告を受け入れているわけではありません。So, making AI work for you. That's the second class that I took, and that was a really good class. So I've been using different AI front ends. Well, the front end being MyClaw. The others I just go straight through Google. So I've used ChatGPT, Gemini, OpenAI, and they're good. And I'm finding out that some are better at some things than others. I created a calendar that recreates itself every couple of weeks, and it's a 2-week-long calendar. Found out that using ChatGPT is better for that than using Gemini. So go figure. So I use these tools to assist me in branding, marketing, character creation, and idea creation and generation. So in these areas, not everyone is a genius, and you're a one-person shop. You can't just say, hey, you do this, you do this, you do this, because you got to pay these folks. And if you're not making enough money, then no one's going to do that for free unless they're really, really nice. So you use AI, and that's your personal assistant now. A lot of us require help in understanding and formulating plans and ideas. So yeah, why not use it? The key is understanding how to create and use prompts that pull what you want from the large language model. So I watched a few YouTube videos, and I've talked to a few folks within our Making AI Work for You course on how to create prompts. And that's worked out well. So the short version here, you need to be exact with your prompts. And give your AI a persona. I mean, you can call them Fred or whatever, but you are a voice. Say you do this, and this is the persona. You tell it, go AI, I'm going to call you Fred from now on. That's your name. And you're a voice acting director with 30 years of experience in narration. You understand the noir genre and character building and script creation. Create me a script for a character who was a detective in 1960s Los Angeles, who was a Navy vet, worked in the intelligence field, and left the Navy and joined the LAPD. Became a homicide and vice detective, and now works corporate and missing persons cases while moonlighting as a private detective. 2番目のクラス、Make AI Work for You は AI を自分のために活用するためのものです。私は MyClaw と ChatGPT そして Gemini を使っています。これらのツールをブランディング、マーケティング、キャラクター制作、そしてアイディア出しの補助として利用しています。誰もがこれらの分野で天才というわけではありません。プランやアイディアを理解し、形にするために助けが必要な人もいます。AI はそこで役に立ちます。しかし、鍵となるのは、Large Language Model 大規模言語モデルから理想の答えを 引き出すプロンプトの作り方と使い方を理解することです。AI クラスの講師が話していたのを聞き、YouTube でプロンプトの作り方を何本か見ました。プロンプトは正確である必要があります。AI にパーソナを与えてください。あなたはナレーション業界で30年の経験がある声優ディレクターです。ノワールジャンル、キャラクターの構築、台本制作に接しています。1960年代のロサンゼルスを舞台にしたある探偵の台本を作ってください。彼は海軍のベテランで、情報部門で働き海軍を辞めた後に LAPD ロサンゼルス市警の殺人家と吹き家の刑事を務め、今は企業や行方不明者の調査をしながら、夜は私的探偵としても働いています。So this is a similar AI prompt I created for one of my characters, and it worked. It can even provide some light script reading direction. It won't replace a seasoned coach, but it can help you focus, take some risks, provide you something to build from. This is how it works for voice acting, but this can be applied to anything. I also applied it to fixing my desktop layout, my network attached storage, my Dropbox and Google Drive file systems, so they would work together efficiently. One of the main keys to AI is that you still need to know the details of what you want to create. If you want to create a computer program, you will need to understand computer programming at whatever level you need to create this prompt. You can't go into it completely blind. So yes, AI will take jobs, but it's not able to create these things on its own. You got to know what it is you want. The term in computing is garbage in, garbage out. The AI output usually tells you where it gets its information from. Somewhere in there, you can see that it's surfed around and grabbed all this stuff, but not always. It uses the same resources we do, basically the internet and what's already been out there and what's been fed to it by the people who created it. So it doesn't create anything out of thin air. It's been fed. So it's simply faster at pulling this information together than we are. You can still get it on your own. It's just taking longer. So after you read this and are ready to throw shade my way, go ahead. That's what the comments section is for. Say, I am a retired U.S. Navy vet, kind of an introverted IT guy, and I don't have perfect answers or all of them. So if you do, throw them my way. I will gladly ingest that and to the rest of my information and go forward. So this final section, this is stuff that pops out of, I should have said, this is stuff that kind of pops out of AI. It gives you a lot of information. So you really have to read it to make sure you're not putting in the AI's comments in whatever you're doing, because it kind of seamlessly jumps in there. It's usually pretty good. So after I ran that, it popped up and said, this final section shows your grounded, pragmatic approach to AI, treating it as a high-power tool rather than a magic wand. It also highlights your background as a Navy vet and IT professional, which gives your perspective a lot of weight. It's pretty interesting when you run it, if you haven't done it so far. これは私が自分のキャラクターのために使ったプロンプトと似ていてうまくいきました。軽いナレーションのディレクションまで出してくれます。経験豊富な講師の代わりにはありませんが、承知したり、リスクを取る助けになったり、何かを作り上げるための動画を与えてくれます。これは声優の仕事での例ですが、何にでも応用できます。私はデスクトップ PC や NAS、Dropbox と Google Drive のファイルシステムを効率的に連携 させるためにもこれを使いました。AI を使う上で最も重要なのは何を作りたいかの詳細を自分が理解していることです。例えば、プログラムを作りたいなら、そのプロンプトを書くためのプログラミングの知識が必要です。確かに AI は仕事を奪うかもしれませんが、AI が自分でプロンプトを作ることはできません。AI の夫はどれもインターネットという私たちと同じリソースから情報を引き出しているだけで何もないところから何かを生み出しているわけではありません。単に私たちより情報を探すのが早いだけなのです。これを読んで批判したい方はどうぞコメント欄に書いてください。So that is coming to the end now. It's a good talk. It's a long one. Wow, this thing is long, 44 minutes. It was a pretty long post. Total time, that's everything, including the intro, outro music, and intro, outro speech. Yeah, this is going to be a long one. It's going to take me a while to clean this up and get it ready for post. But it is done, and I'm going to try and make them shorter so it's better on both of us going forward. Thank you for listening to EJ's voice acting journey. If you found any value in this journey, please follow the show and share it with friends or colleagues who are interested in voice acting. Be sure to follow and share it with anyone you know who's curious about voice acting. Until next time, keep practicing, keep recording, and above all, keep using your voice. Good luck. EJ の声優の旅を来てくれてありがとうございました。この旅に何か価値を感じてくれたら、ショーをフォローして、同時に声優に興味がある人や同僚とシェアしてください。それでは、また次の回まで。練習を続けて、録音を続けて、そして何よりも自分の声を使い続けて頑張ってください。
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work cause my boss is a jerk and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life cause I don't feel alive and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning. And this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? My right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night, And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?